Welcome to Conversations with Dental Friends, your go-to podcast for dental professionals looking to grow, innovate and redefine their careers. My name is Rachael. I'm a dental therapist living and working in Northern Ireland, and this is just a little teaser episode ahead of some great guests that we are going to have on the podcast over the coming weeks. So my dentistry adventure started somewhat accidentally when I, who was a psychology graduate and waitress, decided her life needed some much needed redirection. And after some research and interviews, rejections, waitlists and study at Newcastle University, I put my foot on the rung of the world of work ladder as a dental therapist in 2014. I started working in Moira, a little village just outside of Belfast, and Bupa Dental Care. At the time it was Oasis, and some other practices in between. And my main objective at the beginning was just to get going, to get out there, get into practice and really start earning money. The beginning of my career was pretty exhausting. I think at one point I was working in about 10 different dental practices, but despite this, I just felt so lonely. And I didn't have any previous experience of working in a dental practice. And because I had studied in England, I didn't really know any other dental hygienists or dental therapists here in Northern Ireland. And I was really just looking for that community. And although I love my practices, I never really felt like I fully fitted in with the dental nurses and dental nursing side or with the welcome team, but I didn't really fit in with the dentist side of things either. So I started doing CPD and courses and joined different organisations like the ADI and BSDHT and attended study clubs. And although this was all definitely helping me feel better about work, I didn't really feel like I had completely bedded in yet. And as the years went on, I was becoming happier and happier with the clinical side of my work. I was working in a really supportive practice and had a lot of autonomy around the dental hygiene and how the dental hygiene programme was within the practice. I was reading and researching like crazy and essentially just really loving my job. And I was starting at this point to feel like I had more to give than just a strictly in-surgery role within dental hygiene. And I was so inspired by speakers at CPD events. But I would just have absolutely no idea how I, as a dental therapist from a little, relatively speaking to the rest of the world, practice in a little village in Ireland, would ever be able to speak at events or lecture or work with a brand. That just felt like such a massive reach for me. I was really passionate about patient education. So I started writing a blog, remember those? A blog in 2019, which then became my website, homegirlhygienist.com. And that was featuring patient-centric articles about oral health education and things like that. And I also set up my professional Instagram account, which was at homegirlhygienist. Through this Instagram, I began to find this amazing community of really like-minded people, and I started to see more and more of my peers doing some really amazing stuff. And again, I was so inspired, but also I couldn't really see how I could get going in that direction with social media, with moving into educational spaces, etc. And then COVID happened, that time whenever we were all out of work for 4 months plus, and I started to make content as my full-time job. And I mostly really did this in all honesty to keep me sane. And I started making Instagram video content, I started editing videos, I was continuing to write on my website. And I started to get involved with some really great groups of hygienists who were there also creating content primarily on Instagram. I started following some accounts as well that were more focused on the business side of dentistry. And I came across Joe Lovett, whose Instagram, if you don't already follow him, is at Joe Lovett Catalyst, who was very, very generously at the time, I think he does this every year, but very generously offering an hour of his time for a donation to a charity, which changes on a yearly basis. And this was the first time that I had had a career discussion since I had been at school doing my A-levels. And Joe, of course, gave me some really, really good advice in this discussion and discussions that we've had over the years. And number one was work hard. Number two was give it time. We are all so obsessed with this instant gratification, and some things are a bit of a slow burner, and that's okay. And also network. So I really focused and doubled down on all of Joe's advice, and I wrote myself a little list of goals, and for a very, very long time that was pinned to the corner of my mirror, and I was off. So that's what I did. I just kept going, kept creating content. Joe put me in touch with FMC, and I wrote some articles for dentistry.com. I spoke at the Northern Ireland Dentistry Show and the Irish Dentistry Show a couple of times, also organised by FMC. And I kept writing. I presented to my practices at lunchtime, little lunch and learn sessions. I did some charity work presenting to diabetic patients with Diabetes UK and their hub initiative. I presented at study clubs hosted by Marlborough Clinic Belfast, where I'm currently now working, and internally within BUPA to clinicians at their CPD event. So I was delighted that I had been able to achieve some of my professional goals as well as continuing to do my clinical work. And then at the end of 2024, I was invited on a brand trip with Der Dental to Stuttgart in Germany, and during which I got to have dinner with Claire McCarthy. And Claire is one of my big inspirations. I remember seeing Claire for the first time at the ADI Team Congress. I think that was 2019, and I was just in awe of her. And Claire is a dental hygienist who is not just working in clinic in London, but she is also lecturing at King's College London. She's working transatlantically as well at New York University. She creates educational content for other dental hygienists, dental therapists, dental students. She works with dental brands, and I finally got to hear Claire's story of how it all began for her, and it was so inspiring and a lovely full circle moment. That story inspired me to do this podcast, which has evolved over time a little bit. It started as a dental article that then, on a inspirational walk, became a little musing to become a dental podcast. So here we are. And I felt that if I love hearing these stories, then other people within the dental world are bound to love them as well. So if you enjoy interesting stories from interesting people who might just inspire your dental future, then I think this podcast is for you. As I was saying at the beginning, dentistry can be so lonely, especially if you're the only dental hygienist or dental therapist, the only TCO or clinician with a special interest or cosmetic dentist in your practice. And I hope that these episodes will put you in touch with that community if you're out for a walk or on your commute or on your lunch break. If you feel like you've got loads of potential, but you're not sure what your next move is to level up, hopefully these episodes will have some great advice in them for you as well. And mostly, I just hope that we can continue to build a really great dental community. I will say in advance, this is not my expert area. I am hoping that a very brief stint on hospital radio in 2004 will be enough experience for this job. We'll cross our fingers. If you are still listening by now, thank you so much. It really means the world to me. If you have enjoyed the episode and you're looking forward to what's to come next, please don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share with your friend in dentistry. You can follow us